Hello and welcome to Let's Go Frightseeing. I'm Taylor, and it's always spooky season here. Hello! Today's video is going to be a roundup of all of the books that I read in October. I realize we're about halfway through November, so next month I'm going to do this a little bit quicker, but you get the idea. If you want to see these videos as they come out, I post on my TikTok every time I finish a book with a quick review. No spoilers ahead, so you're safe there. You can follow me there. I'll put the link in the description of this episode. If you're looking for something good to read, I got you. We're talking spooky, we're talking witchy, we're talking creature feature, terrifying books that I loved and enjoyed. So here we go. Also, I want to know what you're reading. Tell me in the comments. I just finished reading The Shuddering by Ania Ahlborn, and I loved this book. It's a horror book, it's available on Kindle Unlimited, and it's kind of a creature feature type of horror. So in this book, a group of friends gets together for a weekend getaway as kind of a last hurrah before one of them moves away. They go up to a secluded cabin, always a bad idea, and a couple of newcomers are thrown into the mix to add some extra drama and tension to the mood. Things start heating up for one couple and start to completely fall apart for another, and suddenly a snowstorm hits. They are stranded with no food, no cell service, and worst of all, a group of blood-hungry monsters lurking in the trees. This book is a fast-paced, easy read. I feel like it's a really unique take on a classic horror trope, and I really enjoyed reading it. I would say like 4 stars, 3.75. It was good. It was good, and I liked it, and I'm still thinking about it. Okay, I just finished reading The Troop by Nick Cutter. It's available on Kindle Unlimited, so that's helpful. I don't read a ton of horror books. This is one of the first true horror books I've ever read. I normally stick to like thrillers and like mysteries, but I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit to the horror genre. This one was so good. This is a horror book, like I said, with all kinds of disgusting, disturbing, very well written body horror. So if that's not your thing, this might not be the one for you, but if you have a stomach of steel, then buckle up and get this book. So The Troop follows a group of Boy Scouts and their scout leader as they head to a remote island for a weekend camping trip, something they've done many times before. However, a strange man unexpectedly shows up and their entire world is sent into a really horrifying tailspin. This man is apparently very ill, and Scoutmaster Tim, who is also a doctor, does his best to help this man. However, things go terribly wrong, and it's not long before the boys realize that adults don't always have answers in every situation. And this stranger ends up breaking their only radio, which is the only way of communicating with the mainland, and he breaks their boat. And so they realize that they are stuck on this island, there's no way off, and they have to deal with the aftermath. It turns out that this man had been infected by a bioengineered illness that spreads very quickly and has the most disgusting side effects you've ever heard of that will be described in a way that makes you want to wash your insides with actual disinfectant. So the boys have to then face their own fears and deal with a deadly illness and their own like inner conflicts and issues. It's really good. It also included elements of like court transcripts and newspaper articles to give you a look at what was happening outside of the isolated island. It was a very cool tie-in, and I really liked it. This book was really fast-paced. I feel like it was very unique, and I will admit, as a horror newbie, there was a few pages that I had to kind of swipe on through and just skim because it was so upsetting. But if you like body horror and that's your thing, you might really like this book. I think 4 stars. If you've read this book, let me know if it made you as ill as it made me. And if you're into body horror, maybe you're a wimp, and that's like ground level, entry level body horror. Anyways, I recommend it. And for a good way to kick off spooky season with something completely disgusting. There you go. This book absolutely wrecked me in the best way. Bunker Dogs by Gage Greenwood is recommended constantly for horror fans, and for very good reason. This book had a chokehold on me for days. It was everything. It was all I thought about. I finished it so quick. In this book, we've got a post-apocalyptic bunker creature feature kind of story with a sprinkling of demons, and somehow it all comes together beautifully and heartbreakingly well. Each twist and turn kept me guessing the whole way. It's a really fast-paced, quick read. I don't want to give too much away because I think this is a really good one to go into just head first, no explanation. Maybe check your trigger warnings because a lot of the story is very, very heavy. This book is so unique and unlike anything I've ever read before. I loved it. 5 stars all the way. And it's available on Kindle Unlimited. There is a reason that this book is constantly recommended, and it absolutely lives up to the hype, in my opinion. I finished reading The Hollow Places by Kingfisher over a week ago, and I'm still thinking about this freaking book. This is a horror book, but it's not overly gory. The thing that makes it so creepy and so weird is the atmosphere and the little details that just allow your imagination to run wild. Our lovable main character, Kara, is in her early 30s and figuring out life post-divorce. Kara is dreading moving back in with her mom while she gets back on her feet when another much better offer comes along from her favorite uncle, Earl. Uncle Earl is a Bigfoot truther alien believer who is a collector of all things weird and wonderful, and that is why he owns a museum of oddities called the Wonder Museum. Of course, this is a horror book and not a fairy tale about a woman who runs a fun, whimsical museum. So once Uncle Earl leaves the premises, all kinds of strange shit starts happening. Starting with Kara finding a hole in the wall that wasn't there before, complete with a rotting corpse and, oh yeah, a portal to another world full of unspeakable horrors. If you are like me, and you maybe need a little palate cleanser after reading a ton of horror books, but you still want something a little bit magical and witchy, I have a recommendation for you. Like many of you, I've been following this book's journey for a few months. I pre-ordered it a while ago, and I have loved seeing it absolutely slay on bestseller lists and getting rave reviews because it deserves every bit of praise. The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic is a cozy, witchy book that you're going to want to just curl up inside of. It follows a witch named Sadie who was given a curse that she would lose her magic forever if her heart was broken 4 times. She'd had her heart broken twice before and is hit really hard when her grandmother is diagnosed with cancer. On top of that, a past love comes roaring back into her life and she has to navigate these really tricky family matters and is forced to take another look at the walls she has built around her heart. And it all happens in ways that feel so relatable to the reader, but there's also beautiful magic thrown in. This book is described as Gilmore Girls meets practical magic, and that is the perfect description. It's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's relatable. I want to read 10 more books about Sadie. Also, there's recipes in here. I flagged a couple of them because I want to try them. But Sadie and her grandmother own a cafe, and so it has some of her grandma's beautiful recipes in this. So if you're kind of into that kitchen witch vibe, it has everything. Is it too soon to start it again?